The Washington Huskies have taken a roller coaster ride the last 2 weeks. It began with a split in the desert, followed by another one in the Bay Area. Despite the up and down weekends, they're still on the hunt for a Pac-10 title. Great pass, better catch. Thomas wriggles into the air, sidelines and lays it in. As for Oregon State, well, hope springs eternal. Despite a 2-game skid, the Beavs are enjoying their best conference season in 3 years. And they're looking to play the role of spoiler. The cross-court pass picked off. Tarver the other way. It's Pac-10 hoops at a high level. It's the Beavs and the Dogs, and it's right now on FSN. College basketball is back in Seattle. Husky fans here at the University of Washington waiting to get in as this ball club 12-1 at home, 8-3 overall in the Pac-10, is second in the Pac-10, and they're talking about what could be in the merry madness of March. This ball club is on a roll, as we mentioned, splitting down in the Bay Area, coming off the win against Stanford, and tonight taking on the Beavers of Oregon State. Greetings, everybody, along with Francis Williams. I'm Kevin Calabro. Huskies have got it rolling right now, and I don't think they take this one for granted tonight, even though they did beat this Oregon State team back on January the 17th by 26.
Yeah, they better not take them lightly. Oregon State knows it in the second half against Washington down in Corvallis. They laid an egg. They did not compete, and I think Washington will see a different Beaver team tonight.
All right, Francis, our basketball expert, tells me they play the Princeton offense. If only were that easy. And Rulin Schaftenauer is the 7-footer in the middle that kind of controls things. How is it a center as your playmaker?
Well, Big Rulin, this 6'11 kid from the Netherlands, has a very interesting skill set. You see the numbers there. He's having a great Pac-10 season, but this is a 6'11 kid that can pass the ball, can put it on the floor, and do a variety of things. In the sweep in the Bay Area a couple of weeks ago, when he was the Pac-10 Player of the Week, he averaged 20 points and had a assist-to-turnover ratio of 10-1. So he can handle the ball and do a lot of different things for a 6'11 basketball player.
Quincy Pondexter, what got into his game the last couple of contests? He's been phenomenal.
Well, I think Quincy Pondexter, without question, is one of the best all-around athletes in the Pac-10, and the Huskies have really been waiting for him to break out, and that's exactly what he did last week down in the Bay Area. 20 points, 21 points and 8 rebounds against Cal, and he follows that up with a 20.6 rebound performance against Stanford. Although they lost that first game against Cal, those are the best back-to-back games of his career, and if they can get that from him consistently, it's only going to make the Huskies just that much more of a dangerous basketball team.
About 13 of 27 from the field in those 2 games and 14 of 16 from the line. So he comes in as a hot shooting son of a gun as the Huskies tonight take on the Beavers from Oregon State. And we're back with it in a moment right here on FSN. Washington Huskies to meet Oregon State tonight here at Bank of America Arena, along with Francis Williams, Kevin Calabro joining us on the broadcast down on the sidelines. Jen Mueller with more on the 2 coaches meeting tonight.
Well, Kevin, Craig Robinson and Oregon State are entering uncharted territory. That's because if they win a few more games in February, they could be looking at some kind of postseason play. None of the players on this roster has been through that, which is why Coach Robinson tightened the screws a little bit in practice the last couple days, going back to the same intensity that he showed during the preseason games. He does not want his team to let up during the rest of regular season play. That is one of the reasons that Husky head coach Lorenzo Romar is expecting a battle tonight. He's talked all week long about having his team get off into a good offensive rhythm, which, Kevin, is something they have struggled with at times this season.
Thanks, Jen. Good information. And, of course, there are many other ties between these 2 coaches that you no doubt will be telling us about as the broadcast goes on. Lineups: Gant, Brockman, Pondexter, Dentman, Thomas for Washington, Schaftenauer, McShane, Tarver, Platt, and Tarver, the 2 brothers, Seth and Josh from Jesuit High School Portland, Oregon. Our officials are Vern Harris, Kevin Brill, and Michael Irving. And the tip is won by the Huskies and Quincy Pondexter. Dentman and Thomas, the two guards, the two diminutive guards that are 1 and 2 respectively in scoring for this Husky team. And Francis, as we talk, Oregon State opens up in the zone.
Well, they come out in the 1-3-1 as expected. They have a pretty small lineup out there right now as well. So it'll be important that the way the Huskies like to get on the offensive board, everybody's got to get on the glass.
Now the weakness of the zone is just that. You can't find a man to screen him to get to the glass to rebound as Josh Tarver steps in and pulls Brockman to the floor. And this Husky team is not a ball club that you can be inattentive with when it comes to the glass. They had 42 rebounds a game, out-rebound their opponents by 10 per contest.
Yeah, and especially if you're going to play zone, you've got to have some tough rebounders on the weak side.
Heat check to Pondexter, and it's on.
Well, back-to-back 20-point games in the Bay Area last weekend. He knocks down that first shot. Hopefully his confidence will remain high.
Shooting better than 50% from the field over the last 2 games and 41 points total. Here's Tarver with it. Swings it to McShane. Checked by Brockman. They bring him out from beneath the rim.
I'll expect Oregon State to be very patient in their half-court offense. They don't want this game to get up into the 60s, 70s, or 80s. They want the score to be low and give themselves the chance to win the game coming down the stretch.
The key is to watch Schaftenauer as he puts Oregon State on the board 2-2. They start their offense with him, and you can see Gant deny him the ball in the first 15 seconds of the count there.
The first time they played, they did a nice job of denying him the basketball, but you see him moving around a little bit on the court this time.
Tarver into the lane, off the turnover for the bucket, and it's 4-2 Oregon State. And his brother Seth did a nice job to drag Dentman away from the play there to free him for a lane to the bucket. Now they come to trap Thomas. He gets rid of it to Pondexter. I think the Beavers up top want to get the ball out of the hands of Thomas.
Yeah, well, Oregon State's going to be real active. They had Seth Tarver and Josh Tarver up at the top of that zone, who are very good athletes. McShane, who has some length, and the Huskies are going to have to be very crisp with their passing and make some ball fakes.
Oh, there's Thomas off the swing, and he knocks down the 3. IT comes in leading the Huskies at 16.5 per ball game. He's 30% from 3. Ricky Clapp. It's a quick one from Florida, and look at him. He finds a seam and gets to the cup to lay it up and in.
And when you're running that spread offense the way they like to run it, you're afraid to come over and give some help because you feel like you're going to get backdoored, and that's the beauty of that offense.
McShane nearly picks up the cross court. January 17th, the Huskies led by as many as 27, won by 26. Pondexter inside of Brockman. Led him a bit too far. He saves it, but off the back of the glass and out of bounds to Oregon State. Since then, Oregon State, of course, has picked up 3 Pac-10 wins, 2 on the road in the Bay Area, and then at home against Oregon. So they are a vastly improved ball club.
Well, they've totally bought into Coach Robinson's system and his philosophy, and you just see them every week getting better. And even though they've lost some games down the stretch, you can see the improvement with them. With each game, you see them come out on the court.
Lathan Wallace in the lineup. Wallace is a load. Tarver with the hopper. In and out, and Gant clears the rebound.
Probably not the shot they want Tarver taking. He's not an exceptionally good outside shooter.
Dentman, nice pass inside to Pondexter. He's pinched down on the inline, but a foul as he goes up on the pass.
A nice job by Quincy Pondexter finding a gap in that zone and just coming along the baseline behind the zone. Justin Didman with a good ball fake, getting him the ball there in the short corner area.
Foul is on Lathan Wallace, 6'3", 200-pounder, the sophomore from Portland. He's the first substitution off the bench for Oregon State. Pondexter's inbound is deflected. Seth Tarver is 6'5", has great hops, and he just snared that one.
Well, that's a matchup of 2 exceptional athletes between Pondexter and Seth Tarver.
Seth out on top, checked by Pondexter, swings it cross court to his brother. Inside Schaftenauer. Double team, but that means you got an open rebounder, and it was Tarver to grab it and lay it in.
And you see Tarver with that athleticism coming from the weak side to grab that rebound. Quincy Pondexter has to stay home and box out.
Tell you, these long passes take your breath away, don't they? If you're Husky fan. You can hear the crowd sigh as that ball went cross court, but it ended up a nice play as Gant's open on the rotation, and he knocks it down.
Well, Darnell Gant has shown the ability to knock down a little mid-range jump shot when people leave him and make him the prove-it-to-me guy. He's been pretty good from about 10 to 15 feet.
Beavs on top, 8-7. Look at the hot shooting here early, 4 of 6. Washington 3 of 4. It's all about staying power for Oregon State. Wallace outside a three. And Brockman with a rebound.
And I'm sure that's not a shot Coach Robinson wanted. There was a lot of shot clock left.
Detman outside, knocked down. That is a high percentage shot for him this year. Detman, 43% doing good work from beyond the arc. And we come back, he's going to get 3 at the line on the foul to Klatt.
Well, the Huskies have turned the ball over 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. They're going to have to be a lot more proficient with the basketball because this Oregon State team came to play tonight.
Points in the paint, 8 Love. Oregon State University, you can't let them get their own misses.
Well, Seth Tarver, we talked about him being an exceptional athlete. Rulon Shaftenar with the miss. Brockman gets his hands on it, but you see Tarver come in to clean up and do the dirty work, and he's a good athlete, good hops, good hands, and again, going to be a tough matchup for Quincy Pondexter.
Look at Seth, junior, 6'5" and 205. Younger brother is also a junior, Jesuit High School, Portland, 6'3" and 185. And their older brother played at UCLA back in the mid-90s. Here's Detman to the line. And Justin calmly drills 2 in a row out of Carbondale, Illinois. This senior having a terrific year, Francis. Number 2 on this team in scoring at 15 a game.
Yeah, he's having a great year, and he's really, I think, shown a lot of leadership. But a great move by Coach Romar and his staff to move him off the ball to the 2 and kind of let him roam free and let him do his thing, and he's responded.
And then Vanoy Overton, the sophomore, started for the Huskies 26 games last year. He's taken on this role, coming off the bench beautifully. Had a terrific floor game against Stanford. He's in the lineup now for the Washington Huskies. Oregon State handling. Seth Tarver on a dribble handoff to Shaftenar. He turns the corner. Big man comes rumbling into the lane with a scoop delivery off the mark. And a foul. Shaftenar to the line for a deuce.
And Shaftenar, as we talked about in our open, he has a very unique skill set for a guy 6'11". You can see him just surveying. He's just surveying the court there on that move, and then he sees an opening and he goes strong. And we talked about him in his week he had down in the Bay Area a couple weeks ago. He's 7th in Pac-10 play in assists, and he's the only non-guard in the top 10 in assists. So when he gets the ball at the high post or even at the low post, he's very capable of finding the open man. And with the way they like to cut and screen and move, he'll find you if you're open.
And the junior will come back next year from the Netherlands. There's a pass up the floor that had no pace on it, knocked down by Wallace. He'll get it back, and an offensive foul as Overton quickly got back into position, and the Huskies get the ball back.
Well, that's 4 turnovers by the Huskies here in the first 4.5 minutes. And you mentioned earlier about these lob passes. The zone will make you do that, but there's a couple things. You have to make some ball fakes, make the defense move. And a good job by Overton to step in and take the charge, but you have to make some ball fakes, make the defense move, but also you have to meet every pass, regardless of whether it's a floater or a crisp chest pass. You got to meet every pass.
Amari Johnson comes in now for Oregon State. Here's a pass knocked down by Seth Tarver. He actually got a knee on it. They'll call it a kickball, and the Huskies will take it 28 to shoot. 15-17 left here in the first half. Just underway. And Overton trying to draw the defense out. There's the skip pass cross-court. Detman on the screen for Brock and open for 3 and knocks it down.
And that's what he's done all season long. That's a great job of finding him on the weak side. That shot's going to be there, and if they continue to shoot with this high percentage, they'll be fine. But actually, Oregon State wants you to take that shot, and they're going to place their wages on better that you'll miss it more than you'll make it.
Detman, a 43%er from 3. He's been very, very good from out there. You better watch out what you wish for, huh?
Absolutely.
Beaver ball. Here's Omari Johnson with it. Johnson, a tall drink of water at 6'7". Nice pass to the cutter, Haynes. Haynes up to the left. He won't go, but look at the Beavers crash their glass for the putback.
And this time Haynes gets a nice pass, goes to the basket, misses it, but here comes Omari Johnson from the weak side to get the tip in.
Justin Holiday in now for the Huskies. The cross-court pass intended for him. Back to Overton. Shaftenar, good hands, reaches in to rip Overton, and then Vanoy trying to get it back with the foul.
And you can always tell when a team is ready to play. You see Oregon State getting their hands on a lot of basketballs, a lot of deflections to go along with the steals that they made. You see Vanoy Overton going for penetration. Good hands by Shaftenar to reach in there and get it, and then he grabs his arm after he gets the steal.
Some teams will, in fact, chart those deflections.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a real key to planning your defense. And telling you how effective you are, right?
It lets you know how active you are and how much you're really getting into the passing lanes and understanding what's going on the floor and giving that effort.
Dean looking for Cutter, bottled up, steps back. That's a free ball off the rim, and Oregon State's with it. Dean comes up with it. Look at the save. Outside to Haynes, who comes off the bench at 15 a game. You got to watch him. Reset of the shot clock.
Sorry, right now Oregon State is giving the Huskies a dose of their own medicine by getting on the offensive glass.
20 to shoot.
It's a mismatch there with Johnson if he can back Denton down with good help defense.
Nice cut. And this is a classic example of that Princeton offense. All those cuts drive you crazy if you're defending. You really got to be on the ball.
Well, we talked to Coach Stewart before the game. What did he say? Passing, spacing, cutting. And if you've got a guy, if you have guys that are willing to try to get other guys open and deliver the ball, usually it comes back to you. But there's a trust that has to be there too. But just when you watch this offense, passing, spacing, cutting are the three basic elements.
Calvin Haynes to the line. And the lefty uncoils and misses. He's from Reseda, California. Went to Taft High School and then matriculated at South Kent Prep. 15 points a game coming off the bench. He is their leading scorer. A real threat coming off the bench, but he'll play big minutes. He's only started 5 games this year.
He's out early because of some academic issues, but came back for Oregon State against Nebraska and a big win for them early in the year, and he's been solid all season.
13-12 count. Huskies on top. Here's a long pass up to Florida Holiday. Holiday, Matthew Brian Ammoning in the lineup now, along with Brockman, Isaiah Thomas, and Benoit Overton. Benoit knocked down in the act. And Mr. Hampton, Calvin Hampton, couldn't put the brakes on in time. He had 250 pounds rolling, baby, and he could not stop it.
Well, 2 times tonight we've seen Oregon State foul a jump shooter, which is a major no-no.
Well, tomorrow night, catch the fast-paced action of 3BA former NBAer Sean Kemp and Seattle battle Portland in this unique 3-on-3 full-court contest. Plus, for the love of the game, takes hoops to new heights as former collegiate players compete via 11-foot rims. That's right. It's a basketball evolution tomorrow on FSN. Huskies at the line now, 5 of 5 as Overton strikes. Washington on top by 3. Hampton now handling. Haynes on the wing. He is so powerful. He just leaps up and hits a beauty stepping back off the window.
You were too little. I can shoot over you whenever I get back.
Thomas now with it. Hook pass, cross court to Overton. Skip pass, Thomas catches, releases the 3 off the heel, off the front of the iron. Dean the rebound. Dean now at the top with 20 to shoot. Overton overcommitted. Haynes is open. Dean knocked down. Loose ball foul, though, called on the Beavers.
Yeah, Coach Robinson's got to like that. They're being physical on the interior, which, again, we know that that's a very much a part of the Husky interior play, that they want to be physical with you. But I would say right now, Oregon State is kind of beating them to the punch.
That foul called on Amari Johnson. 16 fouls on the Beavers. 2:21 left in the first period here. We mentioned rebounding would be a factor here tonight, or maybe the lack of it. In this case, the Huskies with 2 boards, shooting 66%, and Oregon State 6 of 12. Gant on the edge, working that zone. Overton spots a seam. He'll drive, draw. Gant up top. Somebody got a hand on it. May have been Hampton. Beavers come the other way. Here's Haynes.
Got a mismatch on the block with Hampton and Overton if they can find him.
When I wants to switch back, and they do. Ammoning steps up on Hampton. Oh, the Beavers very, very patient. Find Hampton at the rim for the slam.
Well, they get caught in the switch. Gant doesn't get back to Hampton. Hampton gets the dunk.
And the Beavers getting busy in the paint. Matthew Bryant Ammoning takes steps as he draws the double team. And the turnover on the Huskies will give the Beavers the basketball with the lead, 16-15 and 11:20 to play here in the first half. Nice setup to the big man.
And again, the passing, spacing, and cutting. A nice job by Dean to find Hampton, and he goes strong. As we go to break, Oregon State 16, Huskies 15.
Oregon State has taken a 1-point lead with 11:23 to play here in the first half, primarily because they've been scoring in the paint in bunches, Francis. They are 7 of 13 from the field overall.
Well, early in the game, we saw them get a couple of buckets on penetration. We saw them go to the offensive glass. Tarver gets the putback. Dean finds Hampton on the back cut. He gets the dunk. And right now, they're executing their offense. And on the defensive end, I think as we saw in the last offensive possession for Washington, Brian Manning gets the ball in the low block. They come with a very aggressive, physical double team. I think Oregon State's being very physical, and right now they're beating the Huskies at their own game in terms of the physical play and getting on the glass.
Mari Johnson is back in, along with Lathan Wallace up front for Oregon State. Calvin Haynes will stay in, as well as Josh Tarver at the guards for Craig Robinson, and Daniel Dean completes the 5. Tarver coming off the screen. Hampton is flattened by Thomas, but they're going to say Hampton moved. Thomas goes down. Hampton got a pretty good shot on the hip, and the foul on Calvin is his second.
Well, Hampton picks up that second foul, but I think Hampton came into the game and did exactly what Coach Robinson wanted. He came in and he played hard, number one. And again, he's a big kid, so go out and make your presence felt. And if you use up all 5 fouls, that's okay. That way we know you were out there.
Thomas doubled. Swings it to the far point to Overton. Thomas off the Brockman screen, but defenders converge. Loose ball grabbed up by Overton. No reset. 14 to shoot.
I think the Huskies have the right idea, trying to get some penetration. It will be there, but then they're going to have to share the basketball.
Schaftenauer, you can see him rake in there with the right arm just to get a piece of that dribble of Isaiah Thomas. That's the kind of interference that really adds up when you're a little guard like that. And then Brian Ammoning has it stripped away. Here come the Beavers again. Overton with a rebound. This is where they've got to make hay on the Beavers. He's beat them back down the floor, but Oregon State's done a nice job to get back in transition. Brockman the other way. Found a matchup there he liked and rolls right to the hole to lay it in.
And again, John Brockman always running the floor in transition. Does a great job of establishing low block position. If you get him the ball in there, he can score, or he's going to score and get fouled.
Brockman's first
Another
bucket.
back cut.
Nice job by Schaftenauer. 6'11". The guy moves so well. Really reads things well defensively now, and on the offensive end, he's at the top of that zone.
And he has a very high basketball IQ, really understands how to play.
Overton puts it in the right hand. A little push shot won't go. They scramble for it. Saved in there by Justin Holiday, but Overton can't convert on the baseline runner. 18-17, Beavers by 1.
You see John Brockman trying to answer Oregon State's physical play. He gets on the floor and digs out that loose ball.
Dean shows and goes, but a whistle. And a foul called on John Brockman. That is the second on John Brockman.
And Oregon State has done a great job of spreading Washington out and getting some of their big guys defensively in spots on the floor where they're not very comfortable. So John Brockman is not going to be a perimeter defender that far away from the basket, but you see here, Brian Ammoning trying to guard the 6'11" Schaftenauer, who could go out on the wing and knock down that outside shot, turns his head just for a second, and it's a back cut, it's a layup.
Austin Turner will come in. Dean open on a pass that went the width of the court. Missed the 3. Next to the rebound, Thomas on the run. Moves in on Schaftenauer, but finds Denton for 3. Off the heel of the iron. Brockman has it tugged away in there by the diminutive guard, Ricky Klatt, all of 6'2".
You don't see that very often, because Ricky Klatt, I kind of feel like he took that rebound from Brockman.
Schaftenauer backs, turns, wild hook off the mark. Brockman with a rebound. But tied up by Dean, and that's a foul.
A good job by Brockman, as always, to be tough with the rebound. But you see Oregon State, they've got active hands. They're being very aggressive, going after every loose basketball. And right now with the 1-point lead, I'm sure Coach Robinson is real happy with their effort. And the Huskies got to settle down a little bit, be a little bit more efficient, and I think they really need to get out and try to run, because if they get in their half-court offense, the zone is really bothering them.
And this is a better zone than we saw back on January the 17th.
Yes.
I think they have really tightened some things up there. in Corvallis. Brockman at the line. He's been very good lately. 30 of his last 40 have gone through from the line for the year. 59%er, and he knocks that one down.
And a great job by the Huskies so far as they're 6 for 6 from the line.
Young got a little more trajectory on that ball than last time we saw him.
I would agree.
19-18, and the Huskies on top here by 1. 11 minutes gone by the first half. Glad you're with us. Haynes will assess the situation. Platt will pop out. Thomas marks him. 14 to shoot. Dribble weave at the top, setting up Haynes for the one-on-one. They'll spread it. He'll just step into a 3 and bank it in.
It counts. It counts. That possession of Oregon State did exactly what they wanted to do. They got the game back at their pace, made the Huskies defend deep into the shot clock.
21-19. Thomas up top. There's Brockman with a high screen. Thomas across the screen. Denton in the open look. Listen. Rebound grab in low by Pondexter. The return off the mark, and Dean comes down with it.
A couple of point-blank misses by the Huskies here in the first half on the offensive glass, but they just have to stay consistent. That's their game. That's what they do.
Platt trying to gain an advantage with the off arm into Dentman, and this will turn it back to the Huskies in a timeout with 7:52 to play in the first half. Beavers 21, Huskies 19. Thank you, Nicole. Oregon State Beavers leading Washington 21-19. Already action in the Pac-10 that the Huskies would be very interested in. The battle for first place is on as Arizona State defeats UCLA 74-67. So here's the way it sets up now in the conference. The Huskies, including tonight with 7 games remaining in Pac-10 play, could rise to #1 with a win here tonight. That is our Les Schwab league leader. Washington 8-3, UCLA 8-3, Arizona State 8-4.
Big weekend down in the desert for those 4 schools. Active hands again by Oregon State. They have 9 team fouls. The Huskies only have 4, but those 9 team fouls are a pretty good testament to how aggressive they've been here in the first half.
On both ends of the court. On the inbounds, Thomas with it. 18 to shoot. Thomas shadowed by Schaftenauer, missed it. And then Matthew Bryan Ammoning in the cup. So that's goaltending, and Oregon State will get it back.
I think that's a good call. I think it was a good call. Good job of going to the glass and being aggressive, which the Huskies need to do. And I definitely think that ball was in the cylinder.
Ricky Clapp with the ball at the edge, picks up the dribble, and wisely calls a timeout. Nothing happening there as Washington covered all the passing lanes. Oregon State on top by 2 points here with 11:24 left in the first half. Now this will be an interesting point for Oregon State because they were very, very good in the first 10, 11 minutes of the last meeting between these two clubs back on January 17th. And then the Huskies were able to find these diagonal passes out of the corner to cutters, to guys at the top that were able to find their way to the rim. And that one guy in particular was Isaiah Thomas.
It was Isaiah Thomas, and I think more importantly on the defensive end, they were really able to get Schaftenauer offensively under control.
Well, both these teams, Francis, continue play this Saturday as Washington hosts Shawan Porter and the Oregon Ducks, while the Beavers will be in Pullman for a meeting with the Cougars of Washington State, part of a big Pac-10 triple-header Saturday, 11:30 on FSN. Beavers get it back, 20 to shoot, and Ricky Clapp with it. Sean Tarver, nice pass. Down low, Calvin Haynes will lay it up and in.
And before the timeout, I think Ricky Clapp gave up on the play a little early when he called that timeout, and Coach Robinson was not happy about it at all. But they come out of the timeout with a set play and get Haynes a layup.
Oregon State 10 of 19 from the field. There's Thomas driving into the lane, but Schaftenauer will meet him. And may have changed the shot. He comes down with a rebound.
I was going to say exactly that. I mean, Schaftenauer was there waiting for him, and all he did was just play 6'11", just got his hands up and made it a tough shot for Thomas to make.
Dean, lob inside. Tarver makes himself available. And he, remember, is 6'5", and on that mid-post, he can take those little guards down there.
He can take them down there. We've seen Haynes shoot over Thomas, and this time we see Tarver go down to the paint and get a post up.
18-2 points in the paint advantage for Oregon State. Man, Turner inside to Matthew Bryan-Ammon. Spins, and Schaftenauer there to grab him, and a foul called on the big man.
And you see the Huskies trying to establish something in the paint for themselves, and you can see that they're right now being dominated. But just a nice steal by Seth Tarver. Nice pass over the top by Dean to deliver it. And at 6'5" and being a good athlete, Tarver's able to just go up and lay it in.
Schaftenauer with his first foul. Daniel Dean will step out for the Beavers. And coming back in is Amari Johnson. Not as much with Johnson in there. He's 6'7". One field goal made in the last 8:52 by the Huskies. Bryan-Ammon with a free throw, and now Brockman will come to get him. 25-20 count.
So we'll keep an eye on this. 6:16 left in the first half, and Brockman comes back into the basketball game with the 2 fouls.
Denman leads the Huskies in scoring with a half dozen. Thomas with just 3 points. Cross-court pass. Pondexter reaching out, and a foul as he makes contact, and this will be the 6th team foul on Washington. It is the first on cue.
See the Huskies trying to be a little more aggressive defensively, but Quincy Pondexter was just a little late in having a chance to get that steal. The Huskies are changing their defense up a little bit. They bring Brockman back in the game, but I think you're going to see him sag and just kind of play center field there in the paint quite a bit. You see him there in the middle. He's not really guarding anyone.
Come out to get Johnson, who will run him immediately. Nice pass off the action to Tarver, and he will lay it up and in. And once again, Tarver was a target because he just swung his arms and got by the Denman down on the end line. Here's a pass to the sideline. And again, Oregon State contending every pass. Contact made, and Ricky Klatt bumps Elston Turner down there.
Yes. And you also saw the fact that when Brockman did come out to challenge, then Johnson goes right at him, trying to get him to pick up that 3rd foul. And then when Tarver goes to the basket, John cannot really challenge that shot because he doesn't want to pick up that 3rd.
Foul on Ricky Klatt, and that is his 3rd. And here's Turner at the line. So Klatt will get a breather. And then will come Josh Tarver, 6'3" junior out of Portland, Jesuit High School. Turner rolls in the second. Huskies at the line, 10 of 11. 27-22, Beavers by 5. 5.5 minutes to go, first half. Haynes coming off the screen from Schaftenauer, and then finds the open man for 3. Johnson's shot way off the mark. Thomas. Tarver comes down with a rebound. Crowd wanted a foul. Again, Oregon State had 2 guys running with Thomas. Haynes the other way, ripped away from him by Denton. Rejection by Turner, but right back outside to the Beavers.
Well, Schaftenauer will just back him down and shoot over him, or they're going to get a back cut.
Foul's going to be on Turner. He got the knee up under Schaftenauer, but obviously Lorenzo Romar didn't think so. He wanted to call the other way a moment ago on the Thomas drive.
Yeah, well, they may have gotten lucky. I don't know if we'll get a chance to look at it again. But Schaftenauer was going to back Turner down. And right when the whistle was blown, Haynes had gone back door, and he was going to get layup. You'll see Schaftenauer here at the top of the key. And right when the whistle is blown, the whistle's blown right there. That's a back cut, and they were going to get a layup.
Tarver with it along the end line. Outside to Haynes, intercepted by Denman, couldn't handle it. Haynes comes up with it. Look at the movement without the ball as things were breaking down. Tarver is still going back door. That's terrific. That is well-disciplined basketball.
Absolutely. They're always cutting, always looking for each other, and just understand that if they make those cuts, that someone's going to deliver the basketball.
That's just great reaction there, because the tendency is just to stand when there's a scramble like that. Denman comes down, and he answers with a 3.
And Denman's outside shooting, and the fact that the Huskies are 10 for 11 from the foul line is what's keeping them close here.
4-point lead for the Beavers, 4:25 to go in a very good first half. Here's Dean with it. There's that back cut, but Brockman got a hand on it. Knocks it down, Denman on the run. Pondexter up top on the alley-oop for the two-hand finish.
And a good job out of Huskies. 2 consecutive times, actually, they're able to get out in transition. Thomas wasn't able to get one to fall earlier, but now they finally got the crowd into the game. And now they've got to get a stop. But watch Oregon State go deep into the shot clock and try to get the crowd out of the basketball game.
3:55 left in the first half, and Washington pulls to within 2. Beavers spread the floor with 14 to shoot. Calvin Haynes with it. Detman over the top of the screen. Good defense right up in Haynes. Missed the shot. Dean has it dislodged by Overton. Brockman comes down with it. Overton with his head up wants to push. Tripped up and a foul. Dean got him with a knee. Second foul on Dean.
Well, John Brockman does a good job of having active hands. Gets the steal and gets it out to Detman. And then you see Quincy Pondexter, being the athlete that he is, that alley-oops gets the Huskies to within 2.
Beavers up 2, 3:29 to go. First half. Craig Robinson has imparted a lot of knowledge to this team. They've had to learn a whole lot in a very short period of time. This is indicative of what they've learned so far, Francis.
Yes, well, this play is going to start with a turnover. Seth Tarver's in trouble. Justin Detman, nice job of getting the steal. The minute Calvin Haynes gets his hands on that ball, you see, I believe that's Josh Tarver, he immediately cuts to the basket. Haynes has his head up, spots him, and they get a layup. And just a nice job of them understanding that immediately you make the cut, and even if you don't get the basketball on the cut, that means that someone has probably come to help and somebody else is going to be open.
But only Overton at the free throw line with a chance to tie this baby at 29 all. 3:29 left here in the first half, and he hits the first. Washington has only hit one shot in 9 minutes 36 seconds, and they are 1 of 15 in that period of time. They were only outscored, however, 14-9. So they've been getting to the free throw line, and they have been converting. What had been a hindrance is now a help at this phase of their season. They are 12 of 13 from the line. So
and a nice job by the Huskies to tie this basketball game up. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that when Ricky Clapp went out of the game with his third foul, things kind of turned around a little bit.
Hampton has it blocked on the turnover. Detman races to the cup and lays it up and in. Huskies take the lead 31-29.
And both of these teams have their key components. You have Haynes really running the point right now. They'd rather have Haynes off the ball than on the basketball. So you can see the significance and the importance of Ricky Clapp. Picks up that third foul at 5:41, and since then it's been all Huskies.
First lead since 9:04. 4 ties, 10 lead changes. That's a good game. 12 to shoot. Shaftenar. Backs and spins, reverse hook. Banks it up and in. That's a good looking move.
And as unorthodox as it looks, he's been making those shots all season long. Maybe not banking them in, but at 6'11", he's going to back you down, and he's a good enough ball handler that if somebody comes to help, he'll pass it.
Shaftenar tips it ahead. Haynes will lay it up now. Brockman will clear it out of bounds to give his team a chance to regroup defensively.
But again, another turnover by the Huskies, and you see Shaftenar being the heady player that he is. He doesn't grab the ball. He knows he's got a chance to advance it, and he tips it to a teammate. They're off and running.
8 turns on the Huskies, who average just under 15 a game. Brockman is out. Matthew Bryan Ammoning in. A whistle immediately as Pondexter may have been holding Shaftenar. And that is the second foul on Quincy Pondexter.
That'll put Oregon State at the line for the rest of the half.
And Roland Shaftenar will step up from Utrecht, Netherlands. He started in 19 games this year. Free throw missing. Turner with the rebound. Detman trying to sell it. Nobody's buying. 26 to shoot. Detman, deep three. Spun around by Tarver. He got it off nonetheless. And Detman is back in that groove, Francis.
Key word, deep. That was a deep three, as you said. That was well behind the three-point line.
He's 3 of 5 out there. He has 14 on the night. Inside, good front. Turner fronts the big man. Turner will lead the break. He'll take it up the middle. Nice play. Couldn't finish. That's a heartbreaker.
Tough break. He had Pondexter on the wing there, too. Might have been able to give it up to him early and maybe give it up and get it back.
Haynes, the lefty, elevates. Nope. Rebound Thomas. He'll sprint up the floor behind the back. Pondexter to his left. Detman trailing. He's got the hot hand off the rim. Tipped out. Detman couldn't hold it out of bounds. Oregon State basketball. Huskies leading here by 3.
Well, Justin Detman, as you mentioned, Kevin, 3 for 5 from behind the arc, and you can see that is well behind the three-point line. That is a deep 3.
College, international, NBA. He was out there beyond all limits. He was in international waters. Lob pass, cross court, McShane. Schaftenauer wants it inside. Pondexter fronting him and pushes him out of there. McShane will trigger the 3, and Thomas again will have a chance to sail down the floor with a rock. Watch him dance with it. 29 to shoot, a minute 4 to play. Nice lob. Inside, Pondexter led to the hole, but he can't convert. Matthew Brian Ammoning tugs it away from Tarver, and a foul. It sends the Beavers to the line.
And for the most part, the Huskies have done a pretty good job at times of getting the ball in deep to the post to get some pretty good looks, but they've missed about 3 chippies in there, and all of that has led to Oregon State really staying right here with them in this game, being as close as it is. Not that the Huskies would have run away with it, but they've missed some easy shots down low.
12-2, Washington run to take the 3-point lead. Just under a minute remaining in the first half.
And the Huskies were able to get John Brockman back in the game for about 4 or 5 minute stretch, and he not pick up that 3rd foul. They've taken him out now for the final 58 seconds. So unless the Beavers go on some type of a big run here, the Huskies are going to be pretty happy with the way this first half actually ended up.
Seth Tarver with a second free throw and a 20-second timeout called by Washington. And the Huskies on top by 1. Washington coming into this game knowing that if Arizona State beat UCLA, they had a chance with a win here to move into first in the Pac-10. That would leave them with 6 Pac-10 games remaining. And of course, Washington coming off a 4-game road trip down to Arizona and then to Northern California, where they split. They lost at Arizona, defeated Arizona State, and that's crucial when you take a look at the standings now, because the Huskies have home games remaining against Arizona State, Arizona, and Washington State, and obviously Oregon this coming weekend as well. Arizona State defeating UCLA tonight. Holiday will bring it out of backcourt under pressure, and Thomas will take it. Holiday has it snared. Seth Tarver again is, you talked about free safety a moment ago. How Brockman was playing a little free safety in the paint. They like to use Seth Tarver out there at the top or on the edge because of his quickness, suddenness, right?
Yes, and absolutely. And the Huskies have to try to use that against him. And we talked earlier, against the zone, you've got to make some ball fakes. You've got to move the defense, and then receivers of the pass have to make themselves available. But you're not going to be able to make just a direct pass because they're choking all of those passing lanes. So make a ball fake, move the defense, make them move their hands, and then pass around it.
They surround Thomas, tries to dribble out of it. Tarver with the pick and a roundhouse to the cup.
And right on cue, he shows you his athleticism. This is a 6'5" guard out front, guarding one of the best ball handlers in the conference, and he picked him clean.
35-34, Beavers. 10 seconds left in the half. Turner outside of Dentman. Dentman with 5 and immediately fouled, which the way things are going with Dentman from beyond 3 is not a bad bet for Lathan Wallace, but that is his 3rd foul.
But in the previous possession, Seth Tarver, good defensive position, just gets in his stance, sees an opportunity to flick at the ball, he gets it and goes down with the big finish. And another turnover for the Huskies. That brings their turnover total.
We can get that for you real quick. That's 10.
Up to 10. Up to 10.
I had to do a double take on that.
Yes.
That's how effective
to make sure I was right.
Oregon State has been.
Yes, they have been.
Wallace immediately pulled with the 3 fouls. Remember, Ricky Klatt on the bench for Oregon State with 3. Dentman at the line. So Justin makes quick work there, puts the Huskies on top 36-35. Let's see what the Beavers do here. Haynes with it. Good shooter. Can't leave him too much space. He'll get off the three. At the buzzer. Would have counted had it gone. That will end the first half. Well played for both clubs. Huskies on top 36-35. Stat sheet stuffer. Seth Tarver. Take a look at the halftime numbers. Field goals, Oregon State 15-32, Washington 9-25. Do your math, youngsters. 36%. Three-point shooting, 4 of 9. Dentman has been filling it up out there. He's 3 of 6. Free throws, a 14-4 scoring advantage. Down to the court, Jen Mueller standing by.
Kevin, in talking to Oregon State head coach Craig Robinson at halftime, he says they are running their zone defense better against the Huskies than they did the last time they played, but gave me a laundry list of things he wants his team to work on, namely taking advantage of their opportunities in the second half, not turning the ball over, and he knows the Dogs are going to come out and crash the boards. Lorenzo Romar saying he hopes that the Dogs' depth helps out in the second half, guys.
Thank you, Jen. That is a real key. No question. Here's Seth Tarver, the depth of this team. For Oregon State now, Ricky Klatt handling. And as Francis mentioned, huge key. 3 fouls on Klatt. When he went to the bench, they lost a little bit of their pop. McShane, 12 to shoot to Klatt. Arcs a high runner over Brockman and rolled it in.
And you have to chase him off the three-point line because he's a very good three-point shooter. And when he puts the ball on the floor, that's really what you want him to do. But that time he gets the kindly roll. Another thing I think we should look at, Oregon State gets better when Dean and Haynes come into the game. That's their best lineup. This lineup that they start is not their strongest lineup.
Brockman caught Shaftenar reaching and spun by him for the lay-in. John had 4 points, 4 boards, 14 minutes in the first half. Here's McShane. Seth Tarver out of Portland, Oregon. Klatt on the kick to McShane. Fakes the three, will drive and kick. Shaftenar directs it outside with 8 to shoot. Josh Tarver eyes the clock. Gives it to his brother, a better shooter from range. Missed it. Rebound deflected. Gant comes down with it one-handed. Keeps it alive to Dentman. He wants to run. Nice pass. Brockman in full stride to the glass. Laid it in, and Dentman throws a dime. What a beauty.
Great job by Dentman to find Brockman. Brockman always running the floor against on a missed basket or a made basket. Always runs and tries to establish low block position.
Nice back cut. Oh, Shaftenar to the rim will lay it up and in. You know it's coming, but he gets there nonetheless. That is something.
And you have to guard him out there because if you don't, he's a more than capable outside shooter.
Dentman got caught. Now he finds Thomas. In he comes right to Shaftenar, and he reaches in for the foul. That's the big man's second.
And you would expect the Husky guards to look to get more penetration. Didn't get to talk about it really, but 10 first half turnovers. But you see Shaftenar just being active with Dentman finding Brockman running the floor.
Thomas puts his head down, jump stops, needs help, finds Pondexter, fakes the three, will drive into the bigger body of McShane and draws the foul as he went up.
Going to the basket, taking advantage of being a little more athletic, making McShane move his feet. And as we talked about in the first half, Huskies 14 for 15 from the foul line in the first half, and they've already drawn 2 early fouls on the Beavs.
Quincy from Fresno, California, where he teamed with the Lopez twins. Who are now making a pretty good living in the NBA. Score elsewhere in the Pac-10. Washington State 68, Oregon 37. Pondexter missed the second free throw. Comment on that score, Francis?
I just hope that the Ducks haven't given up. I hope they haven't quit. You know, they got a young team, and they just need to hang in there and keep fighting.
Huskies by 2. Cross-court pass, 6'9" McShane drives, turns, Tarver to Klatt off the high screen. And he lost that ball as he tried to raise up. And the turnover to Oregon State gives it back to Washington.
And you saw Darnell Gant really trying to deny Shaftenar the basketball out top, because when he gets it out front, things start to happen for Oregon State.
They surround Thomas, floats it over to Gant. Tried to direct it to Brockman. Klatt got a hand and On the ball, tipped it out of bounds.
Active hands again by Oregon State, just getting a piece of it to not make that let that direct pass happen.
They had a lot of deflections tonight. Huskies by 2. Thomas backs and spins, put a hand in the Klatt's chest to get some space and knocked it down.
Well, that's
Thomas.
a tough shot. That's a tough shot there, but big shot for Thomas.
2 of 7 tonight shooting for Isaiah Thomas with 5. McShane and Shaftanar up top. Tarver will come to the ball, 12 to shoot. There's the back cut, but that's covered by Pondexter. Shaftanar trying to get some space.
They're going to get Gant. They're going to get Gant here in a minute for a foul.
Good Husky defense, 3 to shoot, and a fadeaway missing badly. Pondexter the rebound. Detman finds Pondexter in the middle of the zone to lay it up and in.
Nice job by Quincy Pondexter to keep moving. He ran the wing. He didn't get the ball early. The Huskies do not typically cross their wing players, but he comes and finds a spot in the lane there. Good job to him to continue to move without the basketball.
Huskies' largest lead up 6. Klatt brushes off Thomas on a screen. McShane. Wheels turning. He's going to hand off here to Seth Tarver. Shaftanar face guarded by Gant. They do not want Shaftanar to get the ball. Gant's going to deny him all over the court. McShane, there again, they go back door, and they find Tarver in deep for the dunk.
Great recognition.
4-point Husky lead. Thomas. Cross court Denton. Again in the middle of the zone, Pondexter, but dropping down Shaftanar with a steal. Boy, the Huskies have turned the ball over tonight. That's 11 for the game. They had 10 in the first half.
And you see Oregon State using McShane as the outlet, so to speak. Brockman is not going to come out on the floor and try to pressure him and guard him. And now that's 3 on Brockman.
McShane got some body. Is indeed the 3rd on Brockman. 45-41, 14:55 to go. Second half from Seattle.
Welcome back to the Bank of America Arena. The Huskies lead Oregon State by 4. Joining me now, former Husky Spencer Hawes. Spencer, give me a grade on the first half of this Husky team so far.
You know, I think the first half they kind of struggled against that zone. Oregon State came out with a game plan on defense and really executed it. But I think early we made a few adjustments, so it's looking good.
One of the things that really got them is the Beavers are starting to run this Princeton offense a heck of a lot better than they were earlier in the season. You have some experience with that. You know Pete Carell. Tell me what you know and how the Beavers are running this.
Well, you know, Coach, as we call him, Coach Carell, just put that offense in for us about a week ago, and we've only had a few days to get used to it, and it definitely takes time to pick up on it. But once you figure it out, it's tough to defend because it puts everybody in a position to attack. And so it seemed like Oregon State seems like they're kind of taking onto it, and hopefully we can make some adjustments, slow it down a little bit.
One of the things that a lot of fans have been talking about is the chemistry of this Dogs team. What have you seen as far as this team maturing, even though you've been away?
It seems like they're really meshing as of late, and they're really coming together and understanding roles, and that's what you need to be successful.
I was a little surprised to see, and then I remembered, and you reminded me, it's the All-Star break. Any other big plans for your big weekend?
I have to go to Phoenix for some meetings tomorrow, but other than that, just kind of laying low back at home.
Always good to see you here, Spence. Thanks for giving us a few minutes. And Kevin, boy, isn't it fun to see him playing in the league, huh?
It really is, Jen. Thanks so much. The pipeline from Seattle to the NBA. I forgot it was All-Star weekend, too, man.
Yeah.
I should be chilling somewhere.
Little adjustment by those of us up here in Seattle.
Here's Thomas to Detman. Steps into a 3. Had a great look and knocks it down. That's his 4th of the night. And Detman has just zeroed in this year at 43% from 3. And Francis, that is his 4th hit in 7 tries out there.
4th of the night, and another one that's well behind the line.
6-point Husky lead. 6 minutes gone by, second half. Seth Tarver handle. Here's Pete Carell, the longtime coach at Princeton, where Craig Robinson played for the coach. Carell, 29 years there in Princeton with over 500 wins, 13 Ivy League titles. You like this. course, the year after the Bruins of UCLA won the championship in '95, they were beaten in the tournament in the final game. Pete Carrill coached at Princeton. A 43-41 battle. Here's Matthew Brian Ammoning inside, fouled on the putback or on the touch and go, and he will head to the line. And on that team, of course, was Cameron Dollar, who's now the assistant coach at Washington, and the assistant coach that year for Jim Herrick on the bench, of course, was Lorenzo Romo. So they're all intertwined in that connection there in Princeton. Then, of course, Craig Robinson went on to coach at Brown, an Ivy League school, and did a terrific job there for a couple of years before joining Oregon State this year. Some people said, why? He just saw a great opportunity, didn't he?
Exactly what he said. I saw a great opportunity.
Well, Lorenzo's about ready to have a fit in front of the Washington bench. Wanted a loose ball foul on that missed free throw.
Well, it's good to see Lorenzo a little animated over there. That lets you know how important this game is. They can sit on top of the Pac-10 if they get this W. He's
in the spin cycle right now. 6-point lead for the Huskies. 13:37 to go in the ball game. Seth Tarver very effective tonight for Oregon State. Haynes inside to Dean. Drop steps, may have walked. Nice interception there by Thomas, and he had Klatt all over him. This will be the 4th foul on Ricky Klatt.
Yep. Well, Isaiah Thomas, great job of anticipation, and one of the few times we've seen Oregon State be a little inefficient with the basketball. That was a lob pass from the wing back to the point. Ball had a lot of air under it, a lot of time for Thomas to get there. Too many good athletes on the floor to make those types of passes in a game like this.
Detman and Thomas. Conley bringing out. Thomas is going to assess the deal. Swing it quickly to Pondexter. Plenty of time, 22 to shoot. Holiday bails him out, coming to the ball. And then he threw it into backcourt. Was not touched by Oregon State. Backcourt violation. And the turnover on Washington, their 12th of the game, 2nd of the half.
And boy, that's really been their Achilles heel tonight. I mean, most of these turnovers are here lately. Early in the game, it was Oregon State being very active and just being real aggressive. But some of the turnovers lately have just been simply throwing the basketball away or just not being very smart with it.
Seth Tarver's going to get a breather for Oregon State. Thomas will come out, and Vanoy Overton is in for Washington. Brian Ammoning, Pondexter, Holiday, Detman, and Overton on now for Washington. Lathan Wallace steps in for the Beavers. With Haynes and Dean, Tarver and Shaftenar. And it's Dean who reaches in and found the arms of Brian Ammoning, and he will head to the free throw line for 2.
Well, they take Shaftenar away, and we mentioned when Haynes and Dean come into the game, this is their best lineup, whether it's Wallace or whether it's Klatt. This is the lineup right here that they get their money with. And you see now they've got Shaftenar, who can play all over the floor. They take Shaftenar away, so they go to Dean down on the low block.
Dean, the transfer from Utah. Went to high school in Park City, Utah. Sophomore this year, 6'8", 245. Shaftenar will get a breather. Hampton will come in. Dean misses them both. Pondexter the rebound. Here comes Overton in overdrive. Nice little leap and lean to the cup. Did Tarver get a piece of that? Sure came off the glass like somebody may have deflected it, but here come the Beavers. Quick 3. You don't see Oregon State shoot a lot of those. Volleyed out of bounds. Last touch by Overton. Oregon State basketball.
Well, Oregon State in that situation right there, as you see them fighting for the basketball, maybe Holiday tipped it out of Tarver's hands, but Overton going to the basket on that last play, he ends up on the floor underneath, and you see Oregon State understanding that they've got numbers, so they take that quick shot because it's really in transition. It was a 5-on-4.
Pondexter will come out. Here's Dean to the glass. Nope. Rebound tip to Overton. Has Detman spacing out of the right side. Overton will take it to the middle. Finds Justin in transition. A 3 up and in. Man, that was a beauty. On the move. Out of the corner. Nothing but twine time. 22 for Detman. He's at 5 of 8 from range.
5 of 8 from behind the arc for Detman. 15 for 17 from the line as a team. Difference in the game.
9-point Husky lead, their largest lead of the evening. 12 minutes left in this one. Big shot by Detman. Shooting with great confidence and poise. Haynes off the screen. Brian Ammoning steps out to make it a tough deal. Rebound rolls off the sleeve of Holiday. Dean to Haynes, touch pass, Hampton at the cup, no. Volley off the window, and it's Hampton for a reload. Nope, reloads again and off the mark. Tipped out of there by Brian Ammoning. He'll clear it out, and it will be Beaver basketball.
Well, you love to see these teams getting after, but Benoit Overton in transition finds Dentman for another three. 5 for 7 from behind the arc for Dentman. Huskies with a 9-point lead.
How about a 15-7 second half advantage for Washington, leading to a 9-point spread. Let's take a look at our jack-in-the-box outside the box.
Well, call it what you want. Outside the box, behind the line. This guy's totally dialed in tonight. 5 for 7 from behind the arc. Coming into tonight's game, he was third in the league in Pac-10 games in scoring, 5th in 3-point field goals made, 7th in 3-point field goal percentage, 2nd in steals, 7th in free throw percentage, and until he missed against ASU, he had a streak of 26 straight free throws. That's Justin Dentman.
Calvin Haynes on a key possession now for the Beavers. Turnover, Washington State. Now they're starting to weaken a little bit. Lathan Wallace throws that into space and out of bounds. Washington takes over, leading by 9. Ricky Klatt with 4 fouls will step back in for Wallace.
Well, Coach Robinson knows the game's about to get away from him, and maybe it already has, so he had no choice. He had to come back with Klatt.
Oregon State down 9 with 11:18 remaining in the game. Denton. Skip pass, cross court, gathered in by Holiday. Dentman jump pass to Holiday. Gant on the end line. Wrestles one up, no. Matthew Brian Ammoning after it. Saved by Gant. Haynes will control it. Off the screen, here's Haynes. May have taken steps, awkward move. Benoit Overton got a piece, deflects it from Johnson. Dentman lays it up to Gant. Saves it. Overton will bring it outside. They'll work the half court.
Huskies got lucky there. They had a 3-on-1 and almost turned it over.
Gant from the end line. Ball rolls into the hands of a hustling Holiday. Pumps it right back to Matthew Brian Ammoning, and his no look intercepted by Haynes.
Brian Ammoning, who has struggled a little bit on the offensive end here of late. A little lack of confidence, I think, there as you see him turn down what's basically a 5-footer. Great to be unselfish, but that's a shot you go ahead and take and let somebody else get the rebound if you miss it.
Nice play there as he got a piece of it. Deflects it to Schaftenauer, leading to an Overton drive. Count the basket. He's fouled, and Benoit will head to the free throw line.
And that was a great job by Benoit Overton, because what he did, what he usually doesn't do. You see right here, he's surveying the floor and he's under control. He slows down just a bit, sees what the defense is going to get him, and just takes it to the basket strong. A lot of times he tries to make those plays going full speed, and he's out of control. But that time he slowed down, shifted down a gear, and was able to go ahead and finish the play because he's under control and he can do it with strength.
Missed the free throw. Gathering in the rebound is Seth Tarver. Oregon State comes the other way. They've missed their last 6 shots, and they've had 6 turnovers here in the second half. Nice handoff to the cutter. Those were falling in the first half, but not here in the second half. Overton the other way. Cuts between defenders, finds a seam to the cup, and laid in the scoop shot. Nice read as it came up the floor. Huskies pouring it on now, leading by 13.
Pick it up where he left off against Stanford on Sunday. Looking for penetration, finding gaps. He's quick and fast with the basketball, and when he gets it going, he can finish at the rim with either hand. Huskies expand that lead to 13.
Washington up 13 with 9:48 remaining in the second half, and Benoit Overton off the defensive stop, running and finding some seams there, running right up the back of the defenders. Francis?
Right, well, Benoit Overton has always come in and affected games with his defense. He's the best on-the-ball defender for the Washington Huskies. But as of late, he's really finding his offense, especially when he can get out in transition. Sunday against Stanford, 11 points, 5 assists, 5 steals. Definitely came into that game and made a huge difference in turning that basketball game around. And right now, he's doing the same thing here again tonight.
Huskies 10-0 in the last 3 minutes and change. Haynes open on the reach. Overton gambling a bit there defensively. 11-point Husky lead, and now Thomas will bring it up.
You've seen Oregon State come out of a timeout twice and run that same play and get a layup.
Overton and Thomas on the court. Brian Ammoning, Holiday and Turner front court. Holiday, good looking touch, not from the corner. Haynes comes up with a rebound. Brockman and Pondexter are up and they are ready. Shaftenar back in the lineup now, 6'11", junior. There's the back cut by Platt. Holiday right with him. Platt though wriggles into the air and scores on a beauty.
That was great patience by Tarver and Platt. Playing a little two-man game over there on the wing. Great job of just reading what the defense was giving them.
Washington will call a timeout here with 8:52 remaining, and the Huskies on top by 9.
And you see Josh Tarver here, he's looking to see if they can get the back cut. He feints the back cut. You see the two Washington defenders come to help each other. Elson Turner ends up leaving, but he's already got the basketball going to the basket, and a great job of creating an angle to be able to lay it up off the glass.
Sunday Night Hoops takes the floor this week with triple header action. 6th-ranked Duke trying to bounce back after the loss to North Carolina last night, battling Boston College, followed by 3rd-ranked North Carolina taking on Miami. And then it's off to the Pac-10 as USC takes on 18th-ranked Arizona State. Coverage beginning at 2:30 p.m. on FSN in high definition on FSN HD. Well, North Carolina made it 4-0 in the Tyler Hansbrough era, winning at Cameron Indoor.
And dropped 100 on him.
100 easy on him last night. Ty Lawson, sensational effort for North Carolina. May have been the best game of the year played by him. 55-46 here. Washington up 9, but this issue has not been decided with 8:42 remaining. And turnovers like that give Oregon State a little breather, give them some signs of life.
We went to break earlier. Huskies had a 13-point lead. They've got a little stagnant here. OSU has a 9-point lead with the basketball.
For Darren McShane to shoot, he won't. Seth Tarver. Shaftenar wants to get to the middle of the floor, and then he wants to back in. Hand off to Haynes. Ruvenoy off his feet. Rimming. Brockman the rebound. Here comes Thomas spinning out of backcourt. Lobs it to the trailer. Turner hits step, dribble, drive. Little feathery touch off the inline, you betcha.
Turner's an excellent outside shooter. Nice to see him be able to catch it and take one dribble and go up with that shot. But he's a great outside shooter, and he's got a bright future for Washington.
57-46, 7:50 to go, first half. Or I should say second half play. Haynes pins Overton on the screen. Overton from behind deflects it away. And the foul is going to be called on Brockman. And this would be the 4th on John Brockman as we go to break with the Huskies leading 57-46.
Yeah, Nicole, I'm not sure that all Husky fans know this, but Craig Robinson actually made his first trip to UW 30 years ago. He was a recruit here by the Huskies, and his host was none other than Lorenzo Romar. Both guys remember that trip. Lorenzo says that Craig was a very low-key recruit, easy going, go with the flow. Craig says that Lorenzo was a great guy. They kind of kept tabs on each other during the years. In fact, anyway, the Huskies loved Craig's game, offered him a full-ride scholarship. Princeton offered him a partial scholarship, which is why Craig originally chose UW. But his dad stepped in and said, hey, you know what? Money should not be the primary factor that you're making your college decision on. Go where you want to go. And that is how Craig Robinson ended up at Princeton. And he went on to become one of the best Ivy League players that they've ever seen. Francis, do you know anything about his game? What kind of style did Craig play with? Do you know?
I'll be honest, I do not know what type of game he played, but you just look at his body. He's got a great basketball body. You see those long arms, and he looks like he got a little rear end there, too, that he can use to take you down to the block and set you down a little bit.
He graduated in Princeton in '83 and is considered one of the top players in Ivy League history. He ranks 4th on Princeton's all-time scoring list with 1,400 points. They had some good ones at Princeton. Jeff Petrie, who's now running the show down in Sacramento. That's why Pete Carrillo's there. I mean, he was his college coach. And, of course, Bill Bradley at Princeton as well. So, yeah, good company. All right, here's Thomas now threading his way through traffic. 7:32 left in this one. Overton with Thomas and Dentman. Lorenzo has turned loose the Mighty Mites out there. The diminutive 3. Overton, nice find inside, reversing is Pondexter to lay it in. 59-48 count, Huskies.
And John Brockman had to leave the game with that fourth foul with just a little under 8 minutes left. So the Huskies have to remain solid and make sure that they get on the glass and continue to defend.
Nice cut. Schaftenauer just drops into the middle and lays it up and in. 59-50. Thomas the other way. 6:57 to go in the second half. Denman in the corner. Zips it to Pondexter again. He makes himself available inside for the slide step in the lane.
The Huskies are making a living along the baseline there. Pondexter doing a good job of moving without the basketball. Denman finds him this time. Last time, Overton finds him. Good job by the Husky guards to recognize that Pondexter's being active and moving without the ball and getting open.
He's got 5 of 8 falling tonight for 11. Here's a deflection that Pondexter will pick out of the air to Thomas. He'll lay it up. Nope. Rebound rolls off of Pondexter, and Ricky Klatt will come up with it.
We've seen Isaiah Thomas enough to know that he's just having one of those nights when that shot comes out.
He's 2 of 8 shooting from the field and has 5. Schaftenauer looking at Tarver, fronting him as Denman. 18 to shoot. Here's a pass sailing over the head of Tarver, but a foul call outside on Washington.
Well, if they were playing football, they would have said that he wasn't going to be able to catch it. But you look at Oregon State and the lineup they have on the floor right now, and other than Klatt, all 4 of those guys will be back next year. So the future's bright.
Seth Tarver up and missing. Rebound, Pondexter ahead to Thomas to the glass. Oh, look out! Look out! Haynes goes up with Thomas, holds him down, but tried to hold him up. I think he realized that a split-second decision there that, hey, Thomas is in danger here. I've got to hold him up. Watch this.
Yeah, well, you know what? It was probably an intentional foul, but not a flagrant foul, because you saw him grab the jersey and try to hold him up. But you know, these 2 guys know each other very well. They were teammates at South Kent Prep a couple of years ago, along with Brian Ammoning, and I saw them before the game exchanging pleasantries. They're both competitors. They know each other very well, but I doubt very seriously that Haynes was trying to do anything other than foul him hard. Oh, yeah. And in transition, if we get a chance to look at it, you'll see Haynes grab him around the midcourt area. No call made. Isaiah Thomas continues to sprint. He's going to foul him hard, but no doubt that he was not trying to hurt him, because he grabbed his jersey to hold him up.
But Thomas sends in a pair here. 8-0 Washington run in the last minute. 24 seconds to take a 15-point lead, 65-50. Thomas cross court to Denman. Isaiah with a catch and shoot number. Brian Ammoning keeps it alive, and a loose ball foul called on Oregon State. It's on Tarver for the hold. No, I beg your pardon, it's on Washington. Oregon State thought that Tarver had been tagged. And they're going to call it on Vanoy Overton. That is the 3rd on Overton. Freshman scoring, Thomas 389 points now, right behind Mike Haywood, who, by the way, does a great job on radio here in town. And 406 points. Spencer Hawes, #1 with 461. He's in attendance here tonight. It's NBA All-Star weekend break. Crowd doesn't like what's developing here with 5:39 left. It's getting a little chippy here in the last minute of play with Washington up 15, and the Beavers a bit frustrated, I would have to say.
Well, it's been a physical game. It has been a very physical game from the opening tip.
The Tarvers cross court to Klatt. Gives, goes, and big collision there as Pondexter gives Klatt a how do you do, knocks him to the floor.
And you see Klatt on the back cut. Isaiah Thomas turns his head just for a second. Klatt does a great job of reading it, goes back door. They've got the ball in the hands of the guy they want to have it in Schaftenauer, and Schaftenauer delivers the pass right on the money.
Klatt, a junior college transfer. Originally from Orlando, Florida. Senior hits the free throw. He has 7 for the night.
He's a teammate of Darius Washington at Edgewater High School in Orlando. Darius played 1 year at Memphis, put his name in the draft. I think it was a second-round pick, but they had a very good team when they had those two with Darius Washington and Ricky Platt.
Well, both teams go to the bench, and the officials will come over here to take a look at a replay. To be honest with you, I'm not sure what they're looking for here. Francis, any idea?
I do not. I don't know if they
is Monk
want to
on?
see who the foul.
Is Monk on right now?
See who the foul
15
was
minutes.
on,
Monk's on at 15. So yeah, must be something else they're looking for there.
Yeah, but going back to your point, this has been a very physical game from the opening tip, and right now with 5 minutes to go, and the Huskies with the 14-point lead. What has happened here? I think Oregon State came out with a lot of intensity, a lot of focus, a lot of concentration. The Huskies weren't quite dialed in the way they needed to be, but they got their intensity level up, and right now the talent has taken over in this game. It's not so much that Oregon State is not executing what they want to do, but right now Washington's talent, they have superior talent, and it has taken over. You see them getting on the glass now. They're getting out in transition. They have a little more depth than Oregon State does as well, and that has taken over. But early in the game, especially with the game being a one-point game at the half, you kind of see what Oregon State is building and where they're going, and now you get the type of athletes that Washington has and some of the other schools in the Pac-10 into that system, and you get them dialed in and they want to buy into it. You can see that they're going to be a load for the rest of the Pac-10 here soon.
Well, we were talking earlier to the sports information director of Oregon State. I asked him about the players that would be coming their way next year, and they were able, he was telling me, to land some very nice talent. In fact, some kids in the top 150 in the country that they, until this point, have never really been able to land. In fact, they've got a kid at 6'8", 250 coming in next year by the name of Joe Burton.
Yeah, they got Joe Burton from Hemet, California, West Valley High School coming in, and Roberto Nelson out of Santa Barbara, who's a kid they're really high on, a guard that they have coming in. So 2 kids, as you said, that are ranked very highly, and for them to be able to reel in a couple of guys, and that's really sight unseen.
Here's what the referees are looking at. They apparently want to assess the foul here committed on Clapp. Bang. Pondexter nailed him. Now, are they trying to determine, was it on Thomas or Pondexter? You may ask, well, what be the difference? Well, Pondexter has 3 fouls. Thomas doesn't have any. So it wouldn't be as if Pondexter would be imperiled with fouling out of this game. Well, they seem to have resolved something there, and so Clapp will head to the line, and it will stand Pondexter 3 fouls. Thomas doesn't have any. Ricky Clapp will head to the line. Brockman will come in for Matthew Bryan Ammonite. So Clapp will head to the line. I think everybody was confused on what they were looking for, but play resumes here. Now Clapp with the second of the 2. And the rebound grabbed by Quincy Pondexter. 14-point lead. Cross midcourt. Denton. Washington shooting 49% for the game. Led by Dentman's 22 tonight. Man, he has been raining in some threes. He's 5 of 8. Brockman held by Shaftanar. Shaftanar has run out of gas. He's playing flat-footed now. He's grabbing, he's holding, and you just don't see him move the way he was in the first half.
Yeah, well, that's the one weakness that he has, that he's 6'11", but he's pretty thin, not a real physically imposing kid regarding his strength, but very skilled. And Coach Robinson does a great job of putting him in positions where he can be effective. And with that skill set, you know, again, we're watching a star in the making here, because he's a very accomplished and will be a very solid college basketball player.
And there's no mystery. It was pretty well known that this was not a well-drilled team last year. Brockman's free throws off the mark, tipped out of bounds. So I would assume that a lot of time that Craig Robinson spent initially with his club is getting them into shape for one team.
Yeah, well,
and going back to the basics.
Yeah, a lot went into this body of work. I mean, Coach Robinson, you know, it's well chronicled. He was not their first choice. He took the job very late. Didn't really get a chance to do any recruiting or anything in the spring. So he's done a tremendous job, he and his staff, to get this program to the level where it is right now so quickly.
Bean out of the double team to Haynes, elevating for three. That caught rim and fell in. And it pulls Oregon State to within 14, or I should say pulls them within 11. And a timeout called with 4:31 remaining here in this ball game. Washington welcoming in Oregon this coming weekend, the 14th, Valentine's Day Saturday, noon start. Steve Hawes, Spencer Hawes, uncle and the nephew. Remember when Steve Hawes was playing for the Atlanta Hawks, which ages us both. That's where the discussion stops right there.
That was a minute ago.
But Steve looks good.
He does.
He's still got it going on. Take a look at the rest of the schedule here. Oregon on the 14th, then at UCLA, at USC. Remember, beat both of those clubs here in Seattle, then Arizona State and Arizona, Seattle U, and Washington State. The Huskies finishing at home.
Well, 6 of 8 to finish the season at home. Take care of business this weekend against the Oregon schools and go down to Southern California with your fate in your own hands.
Denman, another three, drills it. So Justin Denman, for the record, is at 6 of 9 from the arc. He has 25 points. He's been pouring them in like they've been mid-range shots, hitting them with great ease. 14-point lead for Washington. Tarver up the middle, in and out, a heartbreaker. Ooh, down goes Shaftenar. Pondexter's momentum as they both go into the air took him into Shaftenar, and he goes down hard. And he'll step to the line for two, and the foul to Pondexter with 3:59. Will step aside. Huskies in firm command, up 14.
Thinking about President Obama's inauguration. That's because I'm with George Hickman. He's a longtime UW employee. He attended the inauguration along with former fellow Tuskegee Airman. George, what was the most memorable part of the inauguration?
Well, it was the size of the crowd. There were over 2 million people there. I've never been in a crowd like that before in my life. It was in awe.
After the time that you spent in service and the treatment that you received, and you were telling me some of it wasn't favorable, what did it mean to you to see an African-American man become president?
It was wonderful because all of my lives we've been saying that you can be anything you want to be. And Obama went out and made that come true. So I was overwhelmed and thrilled to the gills that he made it as President of the United States.
And you were telling me that you had a chance to meet Barack Obama's brother-in-law, Craig Robinson, before the game. Tell me what he did today to meet you.
Oh, he got out of the bus. He came over to the Legend Center, came in to shake my hand. He said, "You know who I am?" And I said, "Oh, yes." I said, "You are the brother of Obama." And he wanted to thank me for my service. And that's the thing that I think about this entire experience, is that some of the suffering that we had, people are coming up by the hundreds, thanking me and other Tuskegee Airmen for our services, and especially the University of Washington when they take up a collection to appreciate and see this come true.
Absolutely. I'm going to add my thanks to the thanks of those hundreds of people, George. Thank you for your service and thank you for your time. And Kevin, he talked about the collection that they took up. The employees here gave him over $2,000 to help offset his trip to the inauguration. Classy move for a very classy man, Kevin.
Yeah, great story, Jen. Thanks. Nice work. George, congratulations. And thanks for your service.
Absolutely. I had the pleasure of knowing Mr. Hickman. Justin Holiday with the dunk. Justin Denman with a three before that. Had the pleasure of knowing Mr. Hickman for over 30 years. I went to high school with his daughters at Garfield. He's a special man. People don't know the story of the Tuskegee Airmen. You should check it out. It's a very interesting focal point of our country's history, and we should thank all of those guys for their service.
73-56, 2:35 left. Denman a moment ago hit his 7th three-pointer of the night. The school record for threes made, Ryan Appleby had 9 in 08. Denman, though, facilitates. And Holiday is fouled trying to get up to the rim. Dean got a piece. Justin goes to the line. Let's take a look now at our Hampton Inn winning play.
Well, Justin Dentman raining threes tonight with 7 and counting. Didn't have a very good weekend last week down in the Bay Area, but he's coming back here with a vengeance. Nice assist to Justin Holiday for the dunk. And another big game for Justin Dentman, who is definitely putting his name amongst those to be considered for Pac-10 Player of the Year.
Dentman, 28 points. His career high is 30. His 7 assists, which is his career high tonight. So Dentman comes up big, hitting 7 of 10 from beyond the arc, 5 of 5 from the line, 8 of 11 overall from the field. And Holiday with the second free throw. That will give the Huskies time to bring Brockman and Holiday over for the ovation to the bench. And Justin Dentman is 19th among career scorers here at the University of Washington with over 1,200 points. We've had a Nate Robinson tonight.
He's had a great senior season. And it all started with, I feel he obviously committed himself to the gym and the weight room in the summer, because he came back when school started and his body looked great. And he had done some real work on getting his body together, and it is paying off here as he's having a great senior year and really leading, he along with Brockman as seniors, leading this Husky team.
And then Overton, of course, he was a starter out of Franklin High School last year as a rookie, as a freshman. He had to go to the bench. And man, he's done a terrific job to come off that bench, to spell one or the other. And then as we saw tonight, we've seen over the year, Lorenzo's not afraid at all to throw 3 of those guys in there with the kind of length and quickness he can put up front. He can play with just a terrific small lineup as well.
Yeah, for him, for Coach Romar and his staff to be able to have a 3-guard rotation with that type of quality. And again, I think once Benoit Overton accepted the fact that although he may have been coming off the bench and playing the role as a 6th man, he wasn't going to have diminished minutes. He was still going to be playing just as much as he was before. And he always comes in. He's done it from day one and impacted the game with his defense. And now that he seems to be regaining his confidence on the offensive end, he has really become a dynamic 6th man, kind of the 6th starter in my mind for the Huskies.
Oregon State turns it over, and that gives him a chance to get McShane out of the lineup. And then will come Bjornstead. Scott Suggs is in. Good looking freshman from Washington, Missouri, 6'6", 190 for Washington. Elston Turner, Joe Wolfinger, Artem Wallace, and this man, Benoit Overton. Oh, wow, he was going to rock the house. And Amari Johnson got up to defend the rim, and Overton will shoot 2. Holy cow.
That's what a little confidence will do for you. He just missed it just barely. I mean, if there's no one there, he sends that one down. And Johnson just got enough of his hand on his chest to keep him from being able to fully elevate and throw that down. And that's the type of play at Franklin High School that made him one of the top recruits on the West Coast when he was coming out of Franklin. That aggressive, always going to the basket, attacking style that he plays with.
Wallace with a rebound. He immediately goes up. He gets hammered, and he will go to the line. He'll get 2. Wallace had that knee injury at the tail end of last season, and you can see he still wears the heavy brace on the right knee. Wallace, the senior from Toledo, Washington. What a great senior year this would be if the Huskies get in the tournament, and it sure looks like they're going there with 6 games remaining. He hits the free throw, and if the Huskies can make a little noise in the tournament, do a little barking, that's even better. This one dances off. Dean with a rebound. 77-58. Minute 20 to go, second period. With the win, the Huskies move to number 1 in the Pac-10. Arizona State beat UCLA tonight. Here's Wallace, a deep 3. Bounding off. Overton on the run. Has Wallace beat, looking to pack it. Missed it. Suggs the follow. Tips it up and in.
Well, Huskies having a little fun. You don't want to go over the top with it, but they've earned this win. And you called it with about 6 minutes left in the game. Oregon State just ran out of gas. Too much depth by Washington, and I think the style of play that Washington plays, Oregon State did everything they could to slow them down. But once they started really getting on the glass, and Oregon State wasn't getting those shots to fall, Huskies get out of transition and they start running, and Oregon State just doesn't have enough left in the tank.
Well, take a look at the standings. The Huskies are going to win this thing 79-58, 41 seconds left. So they would go 9-3 in Pac-10 play, 18-6 overall. UCLA 8-3, ASU 8-4, Cal at 7-4. They of course are 0-2 against Cal, with Arizona State coming up here as well as Arizona coming here. And of course an important game against UCLA and USC, particularly against UCLA on the road, because they've already beaten the Bruins once. McConnell of Bjornstead cross court. 22 seconds left. Washington has outscored Oregon State 43-25 here in the second half.
Well, it's a big win for Washington.
Yep.
Big win for Washington.
So 9-3 in conference, 4-1 at home in conference, 13-1 overall at home, and an 18-6 record. Huskies tonight led by the 28 of Justin Detman, too shy of tying the career high, 7 of 10 from 3. For Francis Williams, Kevin Calabro, we say so long from Seattle. Our score again, Washington 79, Oregon State 60.